Hello and welcome to another edition of FCG Voices. Today we have a very special occasion as the Digital Fashion Future Readiness program is coming to its end, and this program is supported by the Berlin Senate of Economics, Energy and Public Enterprises and aims to support selected brands in their digital transformation. And I'm very honored to be here with 4 representatives of the awarded brands, and I would like to start with a quick introduction round. Ladies first, tell us who you are, the name of your brand, and what the brand is about.
My name is Alla, and I'm a founder of a Berlin-based brand 7585. We are working on Avantgarde, sustainable fashion, and I'm working mostly with dead stock fabrics from Belgian fashion houses.
Mm-hmm.
So the brand is gender fluid, and we are looking forward to digitalize.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I'm actually Marc Hovelle. My brand is called Oftt, and it's a sustainable collection of 10 clothes that you wear often. 1 of 10 is a t-shirt, number 10 of 10 is a coat. So it's aimed at saving the consumer time so they're free to focus on what really matters to them.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm Tom. I have a unisex pyjama brand. I'm even wearing my own pyjama right now, and I do it together with my family, and even our parents' dog Benjamin is part of it.
Fantastic. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Damur. I'm the #Damur founder. So we are a Berlin-based high-end streetwear, and we're doing very intensely focused on upcycle, and not only upcycle from dead stock or second clothes. So we also start working together with a Taiwan textile company to actually create a textile upcycle lab.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So obviously very, very diverse group of entrepreneurs are represented here. But I would like to dive a bit into your experience in the program itself. So maybe you can share your intention. Why did you actually apply to the program? What did you expect?
I think the coronavirus actually changed all the traditional fashion business, and to make sure all brands can go to digital with a very good performance. I think this is very important especially for young brand. This is why my motivation want to apply this program.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You want to go on? Why did you apply?
Yeah, I think it goes on from what you said there actually. We wanted to continue to, it's something actually I wanted to do for the last 10 years, is to really focus on our digital. And it was only since last April, since the first lockdown, that we were able to actually focus on our digital.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously this was a new area where we could help to hopefully grow into other areas digitally.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why we applied, because I think first and foremost your website and your homepage and your digital interaction with the consumer is the first base and touch point that consumers know of you, or wholesalers or press or trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's crucial for us to have digital awareness. I mean, we're all focused on content, visualization, our stories, and I think that's the best way to get our message across.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this, the DFFR from Fashion Council Germany, supported by the Senate, I was really looking forward to just working on that, whether it's been like the SEO or focusing on our back-end system, something like Zedonk, which really helps you to focus on your production systems, helps
Mm-hmm.
you to focus on your margins, costings, and give you a little bit more time to maybe focus on content, which I think we all love.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's doing this has enabled some
Mm-hmm.
new learnings in those areas, and even something like Clothes 3D, which I think is one of the futures to learn this virtual virtual experience,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe design for gaming and future. It's something that I think we all have to keep in mind, especially as we haven't been able to travel. It's the only touch point that consumers have been able to have for us. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a very crucial point.
So it sounds like you had a very, very concrete goal that made you apply. And what was your intention? Why did you apply to the program?
I was always having a quite mixed media approach to design development, so I do always digital sketching, and but for example, I work on patterns in a very analog way. So, and that was for me very exciting to learn and to start working on patterns also in the computer, and also to start doing virtual pieces. And so our partner is 3D Claw, and I'm planning to make a new collection, like collaboration with an artist, completely virtual.
For some amongst the audience who don't know what Claw 3D is, can you describe what is it and how does it work?
It's a clothing design program, and it works that you can completely design like two-dimensional patterns, which you can turn into 3D virtual pieces in a very easy way. So you can just like work and straight away see how your piece is going to look already on a human. So, and it's great. And then there's also for me was really amazing to see that you can have overview of a piece in a movement. So when, for example, a human is moving, or and that's important, I think, for a designer, because how we work is we try to imagine and we make a sample, we make a fitting, and then we redesign if we don't like something. And now we can do a lot of samples, for example, to see straight away, and it will also make our process way faster.
And so you skip a couple of steps and you have more variety. You can offer a larger variety. That's a tough word. All right. Variety.
Or more options.
Yes, thank you. Fantastic. What was your intention? So your family, your brand is a family-owned business, and obviously there's a lot of heritage and family values behind. That sounds like being very probably traditional, very physical, but what was your intention to apply to the Digital Fashion Future Readiness program?
To oppose to Ashley's very specific and goal-driven thing, I think actually for me, like, it was an intern who sent me the proposal about the program happening, and then, to be very honest, I have heard about Fashion Council Germany, but I was like, okay, that somehow sounds so far away, and I was like, okay, I'm not really part of it. And then I was like, okay, but why not to try? And then I barely met the deadlines and applied, and then got accepted, and then I think that kind of escalated. And I think at the same time, if nothing is planned, anything can happen somehow. And I think that showed me like the empathetical part of the digital world, which I think is so important not to forget, of having these meetings at Fashion Council Germany, meeting other very knowledgeable designers, and sort of like exchanging the knowledge and understanding that we're on the same path and we all have similar problems, and that we can gain so much knowledge from each other, and that probably there is a certain middle point between like the analog and the digital world, although we are all pushing for the digital world. So no, I've been very, very satisfied with the whole program, and massive thanks to Senate and the Fashion Council of Germany.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe we can dive a bit into your experience within the program. So maybe you can share with us how was the program designed, and actually what was offered to you, and how did you use the solutions that were offered in the program to you?
So we actually got opportunity to work with one very powerful software a provider named called Sidon, and it's specially actually designed for fashion business integration with production, accounting, management, sourcing, all these kinds of big number things, which is can be quite complicated. And in the old time, we always use Excel to make all kind of different worksheet from season 1, and then everybody had to key in. It was the paperwork actually we have to do. And so we have 2 actually workshops, which is Sidon actually starting to learn how actually we can create our process already by establishing our working step in order to create all the steps in order to set up the numbers, the data, even before we actually start the design process, which I find is quite fascinating and also can be effectively to help us to, for example, to save a lot of working time on looking for the Excel. Maybe you have some data you can run and number is wrong, all this kind of thing. So yeah, I think this is actually quite interesting software, which we definitely still need some time to make it more powerful, because it's only at the moment right now it's 1 month, and we definitely need a little bit longer time after 1 season, 2 seasons to really compare the different impact, like what have we done, and we never use the software, and how's our performance, and after that, and what is the result actually we can reach.
Yeah, it's interesting that probably most people think of digital transformation in fashion is about replacing physical products with digital products, but it's of course also coming with streamlining and optimizing management efforts so that you can grow, internationalize and grow.
Definitely, and I think we have to thank Richard from Zedonk, the original founder, because he used to have his own brand, and that's why he did it, because he was always working off Excel lists and things like that. So I've been lucky to have been working with Zedonk for I think 2 years now, for like 4 seasons. And I think with this project I was able to get the barcode module and the inventory module, which really helps when you have to ship out goods or have to label your goods, especially now with having a store online and wholesale. It makes that operation much easier to try, and rather than trying to calculate your Excels and where is your stock, and if you've got different distribution centers, this kind of thing. So I think it's a really crucial way to look at it, because I think specifically for brands like us, we need to look at where our profit margins are and how much the garments cost us and how much we're actually making, because sometimes actually when you input everything from the back neck labels to the swing tags to the fabrics to the logistics to everything, then you realize where your actual margin is, and you can set certain guidelines on the software, which is great. And I think it's a really great tool to enable you to connect with lots of different sources, whether it's even your Shopify to connect with inventory. So I'm really happy with it. So
I see. So it's more about establishing.
Can I ask? I don't want to interrupt. Can I ask a tiny question? What, like, in terms of Zedonk, do you feel like there's like a sort of like a perfect size of enterprise when you can start using it, or do you feel like it's a great solution?
I think it's a great solution from small to medium sized to big companies. I know there's smaller brands on there, there's high-end fashion brands on there, and there's also bigger players on there. I think it's designed for everyone. I mean, when Richard started it, he had his own brand. He was an independent brand himself. So it's designed with people like us in mind, ideally. I think, it's just a case of inputting, even if you can put all your production details in, your customers' details, and then all of your seasons, and then you can see, okay, this season I was paying this for the product, next season it's this. And it just gives you a better gauge, like he was saying there, how he was trying to find the Excels and stuff. It's a better archiving system, a better system to work with. So I think everyone can work with it, to be honest.
It's Excel 2.0, right?
But it's Excel designed by someone with brand experience, is something that most creative people experience when they try to cope with a piece of technology, that it was not made for creative people. But I would like to move on to another part of the program, which is all the trainings, the coachings, the webinars, the one-on-one sessions. Today we learned that there were almost 200 hours of coaching and training. Is there something you wanna highlight? Something that you kind of gave you an aha moment? Was there something during the workshops that you would like to highlight?
For me, everything was very helpful, because we're a very young brand, and especially a sale workshop. And,
but for a moment, please explain what SEO workshop means. Maybe not everyone is familiar with that. Can you explain what it was about?
That was about website.
Search engine optimization.
And optimization of the website. So after that, I understood we have to make a lot of work on our website. Yeah, I already did some changes, in which I see already results. So yeah, and next year we're gonna do very productive work, to improve everything.
Fantastic. So the big chunk of work is still in front of you, probably.
Yes. I think that's it. I mean, I think what we've learned is a lot of things, and there's a lot of great takeaways I think that we can all take. But I think there's certain steps that we need to take to get to those points. I think for me, the most interesting one was the Shopify expert. I think he was very good, very dedicated on newsletter to Shopify to advertising, and I think he had an all-encompassing approach to what we should look at. But I think there's a lot for us to all do and to manage in our time. But I think that was the biggest takeaway. I wasn't part of the SEO one, unfortunately, because I was taking care of production. But there's a great list that I can look at to see what we can do on that. But yeah, I think for me the Shopify one, when he was my aha moment. I think he understands what he's doing and he's quite straight to the point, which I appreciated.
Fantastic. So I learned today that there is a need for an alumni group. Maybe you can sit down together and exchange what you learned. Is there something something that you learned during the program?
Absolutely. I think it gave me, to be very honest, I think we mentioned quite often like the time and the sort of limited amount of time that we have, especially as like small brand owners, like running small teams and kind of learning everything on the go. And I think as the German saying goes, I think shared problem is only half a problem. And I think it's once you connect with other designers, you feel like, oh, okay, but we're all kind of struggling with resources and maybe time management or whatnot. And I think it gives you like a certain sense of belonging, and it helps, and you understand that you all kind of work towards a similar goal. And I think that really helps with the long-term vision.
You are also very engaged in the workshops, and I like your interactiveness. That was something that I really enjoyed. Is there something that you want to share, that you learned, some highlights from the workshops and the coaching?
Definitely. I mean, I think we participate every workshop, and I think sometimes with this program, it's not only designed for the founder, but it can also help the other colleagues have a chance to do the education, because in the end we cannot just go into check our website, SEO, all these kind of things. And I think this program is also value the whole program actually have more educational opportunity, but not only exclusive for the designer, because in the end designer has to do a designer job, but maybe we can also have some other colleagues to participate. I think this is also something I find is very nice, and to have this chance to actually check the business side, digital side, and in fashion business, and how can we use the technology and also creative approaching to make fashion more sustainable and more effective.
That's actually an interesting point, that many of the discussions I have or conversations I have with especially SME size brands, they feel like they are so overwhelmed by the challenges and opportunities ahead that they feel like they have to decide to move on with one of the future fields. One is sustainability, obviously a big topic. The other is digitalization or some sort of innovation. But you highlighted that actually sustainability efforts and digital transformation could benefit each other. Can you is that true probably? Or
I do think, for example, like imagine the time actually we can always reduce in our office hour, and because the great software or actually a much better process, and which means allow us to have more space actually do something more. For example, maybe very soon we only have to work 30 hours a week because we just actually work better. And I think that openly actually in the fashion industry is like it's not actually about we actually have to work a very long hour, but with a production company, distribution, the party actually we have to involve and communicate just too wild and too big. And sometimes it's a very difficult, you can monitor, for example, I did ask how can he actually monitor a worker actually or production process in China or in any country. It's different time zone. So it just, that's why when you're working for a production company, if a different time zone, you just have to work over hour because that is a thing. But if the technology actually can make every single process transparent and more effective, and maybe we don't need to work for over hour. And I think this is definitely technologies. I think is a great, and especially in fashion and also the software we use today. I think it's not only about digitalize our world, but it's actually to use the digitalization to make our life experience get more comfortable and even better and nicer.
I agree with a lot of your points there as well. But also, I think sometimes with too much digital or too many applications to learn, it kind of can overwhelm smaller businesses or people when you've got smaller teams. So it's a difficult one to manage which ones to actually go for because there's only a certain amount of hours in the day. So it's.
I think you need to cut out Slack and then you're on the good side.
I don't use Slack.
You don't use
Slack. Slack's so terrible.
We should return to Excel.
No, I think just having less notifications on the phone, I think is a good.
But that's an interesting point that you can actually that technology or digital technologies can help you to provide a healthier workplace to yourself, but also to your team and your stakeholders. We only have time for one last question, but I find this very important. So as you're now experienced, trained and qualified, not least by the support of this program, I hope, what would a piece of advice be to a younger generation of brands or brands that think about applying for future editions of this program? Is there something you learned and that you would give as a piece of advice to them?
From my side, I would advise to have also a team or at least one, for example, a member based on freelance who would support how we're gonna do the new capsule collection. As I'm going to collaborate with freelance base with another artist who is specified on 3G design. So and it really helps, I think, when you have someone else, not only just you as a designer.
Get lonely on to bounce your ideas.
Exactly, yeah. So that's, I think, really important to make a kind of strong project, to have a few other members. Yeah.
So hire professionals and team up with other people that are knowledgeable of other disciplines and that operate those technologies. Yeah. That's a great piece of advice that I would love to have had a couple of years back. Any other piece of advice?
Yeah, I think the main thing would be to focus on your digital, to be honest. It's something that, like I said earlier, I wanted to focus on for 10 years. And it was actually having this break from the normalities of the showrooms, the trade shows, which are also an essential part of what we do. But I think being able to focus on your digital, especially your homepage, your social and your advertising. I think the advertising is what can take you to the next level. I think we can all have beautiful sites, beautiful imagery, but if not enough people know about you, then it doesn't mean so much, and you're working so hard to produce this content, produce this message. But I think the one key takeaway I've learned is to get yourself out there more, whether it's press or whether it's digital advertising or whether it's linking with collaborators or influencers or whatever it is in your field, to put your message out there and to get you more known, to be honest, because that's one of the hardest things in our industry.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think this is also very much different from how many designers are still educated, so thanks for that. Is there any other piece of advice that you would like to give?
Should I count? We can go count. Yeah, no, absolutely, and I think that is the beauty of the digital world. How I think it's always better done than perfect, and I think 15 years ago you needed to have a great network. You needed to know the wholesalers. It was very hard to reach them. Now you can reach everyone with one cold email, and you never know where the opportunity can lead. So I think it's just really about starting and then giving giving it a go. And then from there you can figure out where it leads you, because I think none of us really knows where our brand will be in 10 years from now on. And I think once you start something new, you have all this uncertainty, which is, I think, actually beautiful, because it can, especially in the digital world, it can sort of lead you anywhere. There are no limitations to that.
Mm-hmm. Anything you would like to add to that?
Yes, I actually do think the designer actually who is interested in this program, before actually he wants to actually apply this program, maybe actually they can first to evaluate actually their brand, which stage or position actually they are, and maybe actually set out a very clear goal is like what actually he said before, like to have more focus. Do you want to focus on a digital showroom or on internal digital management or all these kind of specific things? But the more specific, I think you can get the best out of it for this program, and then it will be a very nice, very fulfill the journey of the digital transformation.
You will be sitting here.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining the program, and also for sharing your insights and your advice.
Welcome.
It was a big pleasure to be part of your journey, and I'm sure we will see a lot more from you in the digital space. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marta.
Thank you.
Thank
It
you.
was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sean.